Welcome to the Level Up Lounge, your cozy, chaotic corner of conversation where we delve into the worlds of gaming, pop culture, and mental health. My name's Anthony, and with me is Nick, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Alrighty, welcome in everyone. Welcome to episode 20 of the Level Up Lounge. I'm Anthony, and this is...
Nick. This is Nick.
Are you sure?
How you doing?
That was a little bit...
Question mark.
Question mark. I'm Nick.
Am I? I could be a skinwalker for all you know.
Yeah, true. And we are here today with Cam, or Kamikaze. Cam, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone who may not know you?
Yeah, it's level 20, not episode 20. What are you doing, buddy?
Level 20. I'm sorry.
Level 20. There you go. Yeah, nice.
Right,
g'day everybody. G'day everyone. My name's Kamikaze78, but I go by Cam or Cammy if you're part of the community or know me. Essentially, I have been a first-person shooter content creator for what has been the better part of 12 years now.
it's a long time.
Send help. I am well and truly mentally unstable at this point. But no, been a first-person shooter content creator on YouTube for 12 years, about, let's say, Twitch for 6 or so. And that's kind of the hallmark of me, I guess. Always all about, just trying to create informative content on YouTube and things like that around the FPS space. And that is me, I guess.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're going to talk about that today, I think, and possibly maybe some of the struggles that you've had along the way, and the journey that it's been, and all that goodness. So I was just looking at our live stream, and it's like exploding confetti when people followed. I haven't actually seen that pop up before.
It's a new Twitch browser alert thing. So Twitch have got their own alerts now, which cover
FPS is not content
over the the whole thing. So if you get, I think, subs, or you can customize it to specific areas. So you can have it coming over just the chat. Yeah, you can have it coming over there. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I've changed it over for my stream, and I did it obviously for us. Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice. Well, thank you for that introduction.
Yeah, it was great.
And
sorry, I got a little sidetracked there by the cool flashing, exploding colours.
Shiny things.
Yeah.
Thank you for the introduction. We are going to be getting into our gaming news straight away because there's a fair bit that's actually happened this week, and there is every week, which I'm glad, because a gaming news podcast without gaming news would be boring.
We work in an industry that is forever changing and growing and expanding. So.
And it's also got a lot of idiots.
There's a lot of idiots, and I don't see it going away anytime soon. So I think we're going to have a job for a little while longer.
We'll see. First up,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know, right? First up, we're going to hit up new games, and for me, I'll smash out the first one because this is a bit of a like a hype up situation within the gaming industry, because this doesn't happen very often. So Frostpunk 2 is a new indie game coming out that is a bit of a city sim builder with some crazy decisions you have to make. But they recently did their open beta, and she can't see that. I can do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have it open anymore.
Yeah. So recently. No, you're right. Recently they had their open beta and they got responses back, feedback from the community, basically saying it's good, it's really good. I give it about an 8 out of 10, and they've gone 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that one.
We're gonna hold back and we're going to delay the game
until it's a 10 out of 10.
Until it's a 10 out of 10.
That's completely fair.
So basically they're taking the feedback. They're saying, what did you like? What didn't you like? What features would you like to see more of? What features would you like to see less of? And they're taking that time to listen to that and build on it, which is awesome. You don't see that very often.
No, especially not these days.
No, usually you see a game that's been released and they're like, it's early access. Chill, That's my excuse for everything. Graphics don't work. Early access.
Yeah. Which it's not like back in the day where, you know, you could go and you get a demo and you can blame it being a demo.
Yeah,
like this is a game demo. This is not the finished product. I like a lot of the content creators that I actually watch, they preface it with like, this is an early access game. This is not finished content. Like this is.
Yeah.
Which
But
a lot of games take advantage of that.
you get that with some games. And then there's other games that have been in early access for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And, well, it's not quite 20 years, but. Yeah. Yes, yeah. But I like the fact that this development company is looking at it, seeing that it obviously needs work and going, well, let's put that work in to make sure that the game comes out at a 10 out of 10. Which is awesome. I love
the way that it should be.
It's a good game. Like I really enjoyed Frostpunk 1. It's a lot of fun. It sort of pushes your boundaries of morality as well, and it's a tough game. Cam is silent for me. Anyone else?
He's not talking. Now he's talking. Oh, Cam you muted?
Oh, Cam is silent.
Cam is muted. Oh no.
Please hold for technical difficulties.
Sorry,
Please
guys.
hold. See, this is where we need some of our scenes set up. So we can just boom.
Oh no,
That
he's
was
There we
back.
go. There
It's
we go.
okay.
We're good now.
I muted.
There
that
we
one.
go.
That was my fault.
On that, like, yeah, a lot of game. It's good that a game company, and I think a lot of people, a lot of devs, and not necessarily devs, CEOs and the boards should be
Yes.
taking note of this, because it's not necessarily the devs that are at fault, because they don't necessarily get to make decisions on what happens with the game. They're just told to do the game, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you don't deliver, you
That's
get
it.
punished.
And this is right as well. Like the AAA games, they're like, you know, don't stress. It'll be fine in 2 years.
Yeah.
I know you've paid full amount of money for it. Cyberpunk is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
I paid an extremely, like a lot. I paid a lot of money compared to what I usually pay for games for Cyberpunk.
Well, it's massively hyped up.
Yeah. And then I couldn't,
yeah.
I bought it on the Xbox, I believe, and I couldn't even play it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when it
because
was
it
released,
came
it was
out
unplayable
buggy
by a
as
lot of
hell.
people.
It was
Sorry, Cam.
there was points
No,
where
you're okay.
characters were like
T-posing.
T-posing, and I'm like
Yes.
talking to the guy, and he's just like,
I
you know,
love-
mouth shut, and he's like, "Oh, you want to see what I could do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go on, man. Show me what you can do." And then he'd be like,
Absolutely love it when characters bug out
Yeah.
like that and they just T-pose everywhere. It's hilarious.
"Yep, I got
Not when it's every character, but yeah.
I got locked because there's one mission where you pull up to this like sort of meeting area with a bunch of different people. My guy went to get out of the car and he clipped into the ground during a cutscene, and then he just got stuck in the ground, and it auto saved just as it loaded into the
Oh no.
the new like cutscene, and so I just kept on looping back to that, and I was like,
I've had something
I'm done.
similar, but it was a death loop in Fallout 3
"Oh, that
yeah.
was so
where
sad."
I'd walked out, I was running through away from some super mutants, and I was like, oh shit. Got in the door right as they were like bombarding the door. And I was like, all
Yeah,
right, cool. It saved. Went back through the door, and it saved as I went through, and I died. like
No.
almost
I'd,
instantly. There was like a couple of seconds where I had the opportunity to, spam the button and like down some jet and like, get really buff and not die. But it was like absolutely mashing the button to get into the menu so that I could spam the stim packs. And I spent a good half an hour trying to not reload my save. I was dedicated because my last save was like 6 hours earlier. So I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Ain't no way I'm replaying that.
I had a very similar thing with Fallout New Vegas back in the day too, because this is back when on the Xbox 360 days, little younger Cammy was very let's say emboldened for his age, and he thought, no, I don't have to do the story. I'm going to go straight from Good Springs to New Vegas, and I'm going to make this work. Yeah, level 1, going straight through it. Yeah. And then autosave occurred, and I thought, oh, why is that autosave there? It autosaved just before a death claw was going to hit me in the back.
Yep.
And stuck in the endless death loop that there was just zero way of getting out of. So I'm like, Yeah, cool. All right, that's a dud save. Cam's learned his lesson. We're going to go play the game properly now. GG Bethesda, you got me again. Anyway,
there's like two types of people in that situation. One is like, well, shit. All right, I have to either roll back or start a new game. The other person will be like, this game's fucking shit.
the game's fucking shit.
Never play the game again, and it would have been great.
That's it.
In that vein, though, like I guess that's I've literally got a mate who did that with Dark Souls.
Oh.
But it's not because it death looped him. It's literally just he could not he got to a specific part with a boss that he couldn't fight, and after like 6 hours of attempts, he just was that frustrated, smashed the controller down. He's like, "I'm done. Fuck this."
That was me with Final Fantasy 14. No, 13. Sorry.
13 there. At that point, I'm sort of thinking like Dark Souls is nothing new. You know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
If you load up a Souls game and give it 6 hours and then immediately rage quit, then you haven't had the true Souls experience at that point. That's on you. Yeah, that's
you've got to
100%
grind. You're not in the Souls experience until you've been dying for at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
least.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then
without question.
That's why we just don't get into those games.
No.
Yeah, I'm not. You are masochistic at heart, I believe.
I ain't got the patience for that. I'll tell you that much for free. Bloody hell.
I love those games. So yeah, that's my news. Frostpunk got a little bit derailed there, but Frostpunk
We did, but that's okay.
Actually taking feedback from their community and working on it. I love that.
Which is the way that it
Which
should
is
be.
awesome.
Yes.
Yep.
I believe you've got one.
Mine is a new but old game. It comes under technically the new games and something different. It's called, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Kien, or Kien, the most delayed video game in history, released after 22 years. It comes from the makers of Italian action game, have endured the longest development journey in history. The game is now finally out on the long discontinued Game Boy Advance. So, it says
It's
here
oddly
that
poetic.
in 2002, a group of 5 Italians made the local news. They were going to be the first company in the country to develop a game on Nintendo's Game Boy. They, didn't have any experience. They had no programmers. They all loved video games. And apparently some endless optimism. And then apparently it's taken them 22 years and they finally released it this year.
I really feel like that's a byproduct of lying on the resume but getting the job anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but you're right. Endless optimism has definitely funded that. I hope all 5 people who have the Game Boy still enjoy it. But anyway.
To be fair, there is a market out there for it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it says here that they said that they've made within the last 5 years, a boom in the retro game scene has revived interest in aging hardware and rare games.
Yeah, because I remember PAX.
Apparently the cost for producing GBA cartridges is at an all-time low.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Like, that just blows me away.
One Tornation.
So, but PAX, not last PAX, the PAX before, there was a game dev there that was actually making a new game, Final Fantasy style, on the original Game Boy. So it had a port for PC for people who wanted to play it, but they had a physical cartridge that you could buy, put into your Game Boy and play it. The biggest thing with Game Boys and Game Boy Advances is the modding community.
Yes.
The modding of the console itself.
Course.
So they've got the backlights, they've got the readers, they've got the enhancements hardware, stuff like that. So there's massive communities around modding this old hardware, and new games come out, and these guys are like, let's push these babies and see how fast we can get them.
Yep.
And
Damn. Yeah,
realistically,
nice.
it's probably not that fast, but anyway.
Oh, it's
Looking at it, it doesn't look like a bad game.
No,
It looks very
cute.
Mega Man-ish.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very Mega Man, very, very much Game Boy Advance.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
definitely.
Nice.
But
nice.
I just love that, 22 years to develop a Game Boy game.
There's some dedication there. I gotta respect it.
So I mean, they did overtake Duke Nukem Forever because that was a 15-year journey.
I remember Duke Nukem and Duke Nukem Forever and waiting for it to come out. I was like, and I remember I forgot about it, and then one of my friends at the time was like, "Hey, did you hear the new Duke Nukem's coming out?" And I'm like, "You what?"
And
it was shit.
It was terrible.
I did buy it. I did play it. I did hate it.
Yeah, a lot of people did. A lot of people.
I don't think it was well received.
Side,
actually, yeah.
They doubled down and committed. They released the game.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
There's some respect to be owed there, I think, for that, especially after, as you said, 20 years. Like, that is
22 years,
insane. 22 years, like that's a record that I'm not sure I would want to hold, but it's there now. So good luck to anyone trying to beat it. So the team was of
5 people as well. So that a lot of 22 years worth of coordinating 5 people. Like for one game, like, your timelines would have to line up perfectly.
There was
right.
There was what was that Wombat game that we played at PAX?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know the name of it.
Can't remember the name of it.
What you're talking about.
But they were they said due to some kickstarting issues that they've had to dial back how quickly they're developing theirs, and what was looking like a 2025 release may be like a 2027 release. Because it's a team that aren't always together.
Yep.
And they just have to kind of work on it as they go along, which is understandable.
And also, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Because it just means that they get more time to spend bug checking and adding in small amounts of content. It was an Australian-based game, wasn't it too?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Get to polish the game up a bit.
Looks like a good game. Do you have any news on new games, Cam?
I do actually. There is a first-person shooter that's in the works right now. I forget the name of the company that's working on it, but it's a game called Delta Force Hawk Ops, which is actually it's actually set to be it's a spiritual successor to Delta Force that was a first-person shooter franchise from way before my time. But it's sort of a brand new one that's sort of in the works at the moment. That's bringing forth. You're going to have an extraction-based shooter that's going to compete with the likes of Tarkov, Arena Breakout Infinite, that sort of stuff, which is good. We need more competition in that space. But they're also working on a 64-player Battlefield-like experience as well, of which is going to sort of, again, compete with the Battlefield franchise, which... To be fair, I don't know if you're necessarily competing with Battlefield right now and more or less just putting the shotgun to its head and calling it a day and just taking it out forever. But nonetheless, they are working on one. It looks really, really good. But one of the biggest surprises I've seen for it is they're working on a narrative experience and a sort of a single player mode that takes after the Black Hawk Down movie. Like they're going to let you play in the Black Hawk Down sort of, now I'm not sure how faithful they're sticking to the movie, but the trailers look like it sounds like they're using sound bites from the movie itself as far as the dialogue's concerned and stuff like that. So it it looks interesting. And if anything, we need more competition in the first person shooter space right now. That's of decent quality because the space has been dry for a while lately. Yes. So I'm keeping a very, very keen eye on it. There's a good chance that I think they're going into a closed alpha test. I think it's 2 weeks time. So I'm hoping to get
July
access to
18th.
it myself, but I think, July 18th. Yeah. So if people, I think you can like either register on their website to try and get access, or you can Steam wishlist it, I think, as an expression of interest as well, or you can I think if you're a content creator, they've got a content creator program that they're seeking participants in as well. So
in a lot of ways they're kind of doing what Overwatch promised to do, like where they had the MMO side of it, the multiplayer maps and all that sort of stuff, while also having the single player aspect to it. They said they were going to do, obviously never did. So it'd be nice to see a game actually commit to doing something like it's designed and aimed at like PUBG style maps and all that, while also having a single player narrative that people can be like, oh, this is really cool.
That's it. Like, and they're going for something sort of immersive as well. one of the things that people pick up on as well is that there's operators in the game, like similar to most games where it's a hero shooter now, but
Yeah.
the operators fall into set classes like they do in Battlefield, but these classes also don't look as, I want to say, as gimmicky and as sort of cartoony as Battlefield 2042's characters did at one point. I'm sure we all remember, the cringy voice lines that came out and
Yep.
stuff like that. These guys actually look rather serious. So it looks like they're trying to keep the game relatively grounded despite going down the hero shooter element in a way, which is good to see, actually. It's a promising shooter.
Just looking at the devs, so the game devs are Timmy Studios or Timey Studios, and
Timey
they
Studios,
Pokemon Unite, PUBG.
There you go. Yeah.
Contra Returns, Metal Slug Awakening. So they've got some
a good bit of history behind them.
A good bit of history behind them because Pokemon Unite came out and a lot of people love it. I played it a fair bit until I had one major issue and then I stopped playing it.
Well, PUBG in itself is incredibly popular.
Yeah, PUBG.
Well, PUBG basically ripped the Battle Royale franchise, right?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they obviously know what they're doing.
I've got friends that still play PUBG to this day.
PUBG's coming back, from what I understand. Like, I
didn't know it ever went away.
There was a little part there where a lot of people stopped playing it, especially like with Fortnite coming out, Warzone, and a whole range of other shooters as well.
Pretty much all of last year, I spent with a couple of friends playing PUBG most nights.
Really?
Yep.
I wouldn't pick you for a...
No, you wouldn't, would you? I wouldn't pick me for a PUBG fan. I kind of hate the game. But I had friends that were playing it, and I'm like, I want to play with you guys. So, let me know when you play. I probably did stop playing for a while there, and I haven't played it since. But no, you wouldn't. I played PUBG when it first came out. My very first memory is I was playing with a good bunch of friends, and I had a shotgun. He come in the front door, scared the living shit out of me. I killed him.
Yeah.
And then, we learned that you could throw the frying pans.
Yeah. Oh.
So we just spent the whole match killing each other with frying pans.
Favorite feature of that game is that the frying pan blocked your butt from damage.
Yes.
And that's my favorite thing. It's like, yep, I've got a frying pan now. I'm now the best in the game. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You can't touch me.
And as soon as we figured out that you could throw it like a grenade to fucking piff it, it was great.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it had instantly knocked the other person down. So there was no it was instant down.
It was the game's throwing knives, which is what we love to see. Anyway.
Yeah, which is great.
That's cool to hear. I can't get into Warzone myself. I can't. I struggle with it big time, and I don't know why because I played so much COD growing up.
Maybe that's why.
But it's just that large scale Battlefield style thing that I just can't get my head around. But I could get my head around 64 player teamed. I'm assuming, is it going to be a team style? Do we know that?
Yeah. So 32v32.
Yeah.
Classic sort of conquest.
Crap.
Like, it sounds like it's going to use like conquest style game modes. Like, again, really leaning into that classic Battlefield sort of
Yes.
archetype at the end of the day.
Battlefield's fun. I do enjoy the larger scale battles in
Sounds brutal.
larger scale battles in Battlefield.
Yeah.
Why was that so hard?
I haven't particularly enjoyed a lot of those games since Modern Warfare 3 was one of the last ones that I properly picked up and played. I loved the Modern Warfare series.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. Yeah. I don't know. I just moved away from FPSs.
I played all the way up till.
Fair.
I still love them.
I played Warzone a fair bit, and now I'm back on X Defiant. So, and I played so much of Overwatch as well. So I never really stopped. Well, that's exciting.
That is exciting.
New multiplayer shooter with a single player option is something we not desperately, but definitely need.
Yes, yeah, no, 100%. 100%. PUBG is great and all, but having some more of those slightly bigger games, especially with PUBG, if they can take what they've learned from PUBG, Pokemon Unite, and some of the other games, I think it'd be a great game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because PUBG is fun and well done when it's not full of bots.
Do you want to play it tomorrow?
No. I'm busy tomorrow, remember? Actually, I'm not busy in the morning. Maybe,
Yeah, there you
we'll
go.
see.
Speaking about wars, though, I've got something that's not gaming related, but something a little bit unusual to do with tech.
How does that relate
go
to
on.
a war?
This is going to be a hell of a segue. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I know, right?
So,
especially with the context that I've got.
Japan has just announced they have won their war on floppy disks. So
we finally got him, boys. Finally.
Like, speaking of wars, Japan.
So I'm being serious here. Someone legitimately claimed war on floppy disks. So in when was it? 2021, their technology advisor declared war on floppy disks.
Completely fair.
So apparently their government was still using floppy disks for most of the running of their government. And
could you imagine? You could take their entire government down by just taking away one of the floppy disks.
Yeah.
Man, they are gonna be wilding when they know what the USB looks like. That's all I'm saying. They are in for a treat.
Yeah, well, I think they've only just upgraded to CDs. No, I'm just kidding.
Like I said before, like what you can do with 12 floppy disks, you can do with one CD.
So he declared, once he got in as their new technology advisor, he declared war on the floppy disks, basically saying, I want them out of here. This is stupid. We shouldn't need 520 floppy disks to do one admin task.
Could you imagine going to war and you know how they need the two keys? They've got two floppy disks.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Give me a floppy disk, sir.
Their nuclear code launch room is just the giant console with about 500 floppy disk inputs, and they're like, all right, everyone put yours in real quickly.
The scene from Destiny with Cade, they just got all the floppy disks.
So they, as of June 28th, they have won the war on floppy disks.
Heck yeah.
One thing that I did see is that not only were they using floppy disks for such a long time that when he got into office, they were still using faxes instead of emails. So they've only just come out of the fax age as well, within the last few years. So they're really trying to move on to newer, more safe.
Could you imagine?
Easier to use,
especially with like how like strict their culture can be on tradition.
Yeah.
And holding to those things. Like somebody was like, all right, guys, we're moving to email. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Give me back my fax machine.
Give me back my pigeon.
Sorry, we're moving to email. What? What was that now?
What is mail?
Yeah, exactly.
What is this mail you speak of? Yeah, exactly.
I did my telegram.
So nothing against Japan. Obviously, in other areas, they're very, very technically advanced.
Yes, 100%.
But it just sounds like their government were a little bit behind. But it's good to hear that they're moving on from floppy disks.
Yeah, they can bring it into the 21st
genuinely
century.
can't believe that. That was
When I
wild.
read the title, when I was like, we have won the war on floppy disks, I was like, yeah, what?
Is this article from the 1990s?
Oh, these boys, they're in for a treat when they hear about streaming. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, my God.
Instant
okay.
telecommunications.
Oh, man.
Oh,
that's
Google
great.
Drive is going to blow their fucking mind. Yeah. Anyway.
Digital floppy disks?
Digital floppy disks.
Have you ever heard of the cloud? It's stored where?
We love you, Japan. It's okay. We just need to preface that.
It's not. This is not specific at Japan. This is just technology in general. I've seen the joke about the cloud being made a lot. I've seen older people have that idea of when people are trying to explain the cloud to them. They're like, Where is it? Well, it's not. You can't see it, you know. But I just love it.
Insane. That's insane.
I love that.
So, is there anything else happening in the FPS world?
Tell us.
There is actually a really funny article. I saw this earlier today. So, Escape from Tarkov. We were talking about it earlier. One of the biggest problems that Tarkov has had for a long, long time is cheating. Like it is just cheater central. You got You've got vacuum cheats, which will basically suck up all of the high value loot on the map, and then the player will just extract out. You've obviously got this classic aimbot, ESP, stuff like that. There was the infamous Tarkov wiggle incident where someone installed cheats themselves, stood on the other side of a wall from another guy, started wiggling at him, and he wiggled back, which proved that they were both cheating. And they were like, oh no, this is rampant. What the hell's going on? Anyway, BSG have come out and have basically said that they've put a bounty on cheaters in the sense that if you report a cheater in their game, and it turns out to be a valid report that ends up leading to a ban, they will compensate you with in-game currency to use in the game's market. Which is super cool. A really, really cool sort of way that they've gone about it, especially given how rampant the problem has been for so long. The only complaint the player base has had has been, well, if a cheater kills me, why can't I get a portion of my money back as well? Because that's obviously all my gear. Like, for those who don't know, in Escape from Tarkov, if you die, you lose every bit of gear that you've got on you. It is bye-bye to that gear. And some of this gear, if it's high level, will cost a lot on the in-game market, which means it's quite a loss. And if you end up going broke, you are really hamstrung in what you can do in the game at that point. So a lot of people are calling for, retroactive refunds of their gear or something of the sort if they die to a cheater. But it's I think this is the first ever game I've seen that has actually incentivized like reporting cheaters beyond it just being a thank you for reporting this player. It turned out to be true. We banned him. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a mechanical improvement, which is really cool to see.
The one thing I'd be worried about is the potential for exploitation there.
Yeah.
100%.
But like, I'm not against. So let's say you played a shitload of Tarkov and you got some really nice gear, and then a cheater just comes on and does the 360 spin, bullets freaking everywhere, like you see in CS:GO, which is absolutely hilarious to see.
Yeah, exactly.
And they take you down and you lose, I don't know, 20 hours worth of gear. Like, I think there should be some reimbursement for that, especially if you can prove, and they find out that you were killed by a cheater. Like, not all of it, but I'd say a good portion of it would be fair, because it wasn't necessarily your fault that they aim hacked you from the other side of the map through 15 different buildings and,
Exactly. Well, that's it. And always one of the biggest problems of Tarkov has been because it's such a tactical, simulated sort of game, right? They don't have a kill cam. They've got nothing like that. So if you die, it's very much up to your game knowledge and your game sense to dictate whether or not that you think they're cheating or not.
Which is
when you've got
Mr. Cookies just said something in the chat here saying, what if people at some point start remotely turning legit people into cheaters, then reap the benefits of those reports? See, that is where the exploitation would come down to it, because that is possible.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. And
I think you'll find in that regard, like the people who genuinely care will probably start recording their own gameplay if they don't already.
Yes. Yeah.
Like obviously gameplay footage can stuff be edited, but you can usually tell when something's been edited, timestamps, metadata, all that sort of stuff. It holds all that sort of stuff. And 99% of people aren't going to be not necessarily knowledgeable, but they're not going to care enough to go through and troll through their video footage to make sure it looks 100% genuine. Obviously, there's going to be people who will, but your average Tarkov player is probably not going to do that.
I think the biggest takeaway from this is that Tarkov, like the devs are doing something.
Yeah. I haven't heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's something.
I was going to say it's something. I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke up BSG's ass, because they have not been great lately. I think the news broke at DreamHack, so I won't actually get into it too much here, but I'm pretty sure I was hanging out with you guys at the time where the news broke at DreamHack about their new edition of the game.
The DLC, yeah.
The DLC,
the
not
DLC, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which set the internet on fire. And I had a chat with fellow creator Toastrack TV, who is a Tarkov streamer, and he was just like, "Man, I'm glad I'm not home right now."
That would be nuts.
Yeah. So I won't sit here giving them all the praise in the world, because a lot of people aren't happy with them, myself included. I've stopped playing Tarkov since that announcement. But in saying that, funny bit of news, fun to see cheaters getting that sort of bounty put on them, essentially.
Definitely. It's like I said, it's a step in the right direction. for them doing something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, like something. Just do something. You've started. People can now give you feedback. You can either choose to go, yeah, okay, that's good feedback, or you can go, no, fuck this. Let's just keep on.
That's it, right?
Trudging through.
That's it, yeah.
And what they do from now on is sort of, I guess, what's gonna show what sort of company they are.
Yeah.
Especially, or it might not. Who knows?
Well, depending on how they handle it will, 100%.
They might take a U-turn and do something completely different and it's just vague as, and you're like,
they'll do a multi-Python and now for something completely different.
Yeah. Tarkov bringing out Tarkovamon. Yeah, it's a new creature capture game.
Tarkov 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's Pokemon Go's rival. There we go. Yeah, fantastic.
They're going to add pets to the game.
So I've got a bit of a challenge for you two.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
So I got we're playing real. I need a name for this. Real news, fake news.
Okay.
Now I've got 3 pieces of news here. One of them is true, and the other 2 are made up. All right.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to read out these 3 pieces of news. You guys can discuss a little bit amongst yourselves if you'd like to, and we'll at the end we'll pick one and see which one is true. All right. Are we ready?
The camera's cutting my head.
Yep.
Number 1.
I don't want to slouch.
Bethesda.
Fake. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
Bethesda have announced that they will be releasing a remaster of Oblivion before they continue works on Elder Scrolls 6. As Oblivion was a fan favorite, they are sure this will help new players learn more about the Elder Scrolls world and prepare them for number 6. That's our first one.
I hate it.
Number 2.
I hate it.
In a new Nintendo collaboration after his debut in Super Smash Bros., Steve from Minecraft is joining the Mario Kart 8 team, with one of his kart options being a souped-up minecart.
I'd believe that.
Okay.
And
something Nintendo would do.
The third one.
Yeah.
Dragon Age in the new game is introducing a no-death mode where you can turn off the ability to die. You can now turn off the die mechanic, making it so that there is no danger towards your party or hero whatsoever. They are our 3 bits of news.
I'm really, really willing to write off the Bethesda news because they say they say it's all about preparing their audience for the future of Elder Scrolls, right? And letting people get acquainted with the franchise. They have 15 versions of Skyrim that can do that already, right? Like we're there and gone, I think.
I don't know. Because Oblivion was pretty popular.
It was, yeah, you're right.
Like,
and people have been wanting it for a long time, yeah.
Like I reckon the Nintendo news is fake, honestly. It is something
Being
that Nintendo would do, but I would have like. Oh, is there?
There's 2 that are fake. There's 1 that's real.
Oh, the Dragon Age one's real.
Discuss.
I'm pretty sure I read it. I'm pretty sure
my man's like, I haven't read anything for news this week.
I'm pretty sure I read that in like when I open my phone and bring up the news titles like this.
My God.
You know?
That's
Man, that
funny.
was so good,
there you go.
Well, in
so
saying
good.
that though, I did find an article on Bethesda talking about a remaster of Oblivion for 2022 and 2024, but that was left. They didn't touch on it past that point.
See, it would be nice because Oblivion had like, especially if they were to remaster and re-release like the Isles of Madness with Sheargrath, like they were phenomenal. I played many an hour in them. Loved the Dark Brotherhood stuff much more than I did in Skyrim. Like that was just much more enjoyable. It had a much more dark sort of feel. Like you actually, you know.
Wait, what do you mean? In a thieves guild that actually gets you to do jobs is better than what was in Skyrim? What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness! What's that? Actual story progression around a faction? Who thought it, right?
What?
Exactly.
But yeah, so Bethesda were talking about it, but obviously a lot has happened to Bethesda in the last 4 years. So,
like, I would love to see that because I loved Oblivion.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, that's what they were saying. You know, Oblivion was a fan favorite. It was really, really loved. And what?
We got some penalties in chat.
Oh, what's the penalty? A kiss on the lips. Where's Benji?
Yeah. No, he's got bad breath.
There you go.
Yeah, so they spoke about that. The Minecraft Nintendo one was completely made up.
I could believe that though.
I know. That's because he
I
Super
could have
Smash
believed
Bros.
that. Yeah.
I was like, all right, what's a character that can go into Mario Kart that would be somewhat believable? Like, yeah, that might, yeah. But yeah, Dragon Age is introducing a no death mode.
What
Yeah,
Mario?
wow. Okay, interesting.
As a playable difficulty.
I ain't got that, Nick.
I don't understand it.
Why? What don't you understand? Elaborate for me.
Why you would have that?
What do you mean?
Why you'd have a no death mode?
Well, see, look, I can understand why you don't understand because you love Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not dying in the game, you're not having fun.
If there's no, put it this way, if there's no,
There's no challenge to it. I
if
think
there's
it's
no sense of danger, what's the point of going and doing it?
I think it's more aimed at people who just want the story. Like
Then
they
read a
don't.
book.
I think I was just thinking the same. Yeah.
They just want to enjoy the story of Dragon Age and not have to worry about micromanaging their team or having all their party members die.
They want the they
Ah,
It's a
okay.
custom difficulty.
It's a custom difficulty.
okay.
Because
I think what they're going for the interactive movie experience, right? Like that sort of,
you're not wrong, Mr. Cookie.
It's
But-
the quick time.
So like I get
It's
it
the-
because
yeah.
I wouldn't play with it personally unless I was only there recording footage or, I wanted something from the in-game and I just wanted to blast
Yeah.
through it and not give a shit about anything. And I just wanted to record
Yeah.
that sort of stuff and not worry about being dying. I can understand that. But me personally, like I play on like normal to hard difficulties all the time. I like a little bit of challenge to my game. I don't like to die
you
500
don't.
times in an hour.
No, you don't.
But I like a little bit of challenge. It's just I can see it for people who don't have a lot of time or
All right.
Like-
I'll
they like it's being able to customize the difficulty is fine, but not if I don't know.
that's
It's hard to defend.
If it was-
I personally wouldn't play with it.
For me, there's games that come out that you can customize the difficulty to the point where unless you make big mistakes, you're not going to die.
Yeah,
But taking that ability out completely, I feel like it takes away from the game.
but also I think you have
Yeah.
a very different way of playing a lot of games to like what I do, and I have a very different way of playing games to a lot of other people. Like I'm there for the story, the combat. I like to micromanage my team, not too much, but I do like to give them like you said with Kayla with her Sims. Like she likes to give them free will.
Yes.
I like to I set my AI programming inside the game so that they they have their combat preferences and all that, and then I leave them.
But what's the point of that if they don't die?
Oh no, with me they still die.
'Cause you
But
can
see,
just-
I wouldn't use this, but other people would.
I think that's my argument is in every combat scenario from then on, you can just literally send your team in, not utilize any of the game's mechanics, not utilize any of the game's items, not utilize any of the game's potions, and you're guaranteed to win every time.
Yeah.
So what's the incentive?
It's really I think it's for those who it's really for those who, like because there's those full length video uploads on YouTube, right, where it's like this is the game full playthrough,
Yeah.
like no commentary videos, right? It's that sort of gateway, I think, to let people sort of get in there and play. I'm going to use the term play very loosely here. To sit in the seat and let it play out in front of you. There we go. So I guess it still lets you get the experience of the story, and you can say you experienced the story. But like I'm also in the mentality of, like I like my challenge as well. Like I would never activate that feature myself. I prefer the risk of death in a game is like cool. If I screw up, I have to learn from this. It's part of the experience. But yeah, like for those who are more into the interactive storytelling element, I can see why there's a value to it, I guess, as well. Like especially if if it's an accessibility feature as well, I really get that. At that
Yeah,
point too. Like,
accessibility. Someone brought that up
thing-
before. Accessibility. Yes, I'm in for that. Making it more accessible for people. I 100% agree.
The only thing I can see myself using it for is if I've played it through 5, 6, 7 times and I'm still missing a couple of achievements that require a certain thing. Maybe just going through and getting those achievements.
Cheating.
It's not cheating. You're using the game's mechanics to its full advantage.
This is my issue. This is my issue.
That's not
My
cheating.
achievements then don't mean as much.
No.
If you can just turn on a bloody
Oh,
thing.
Because your
okay.
achievements still mean what they mean because you didn't do that.
Well,
But
I mean, I imagine there'd be an achievement, right? So, like, more often than not, there's like there'll be caveats to the achievements, like
Oh,
to
definitely.
not. not to like to, as you say, and to value from the other players in the community, right? So I feel like if you were to do that and there was a concern from gamers that could very, very much be easily fixed. And especially like, there's always you completed the game achievement on X difficulty. It'll just be, you completed the game on cinematic storytelling mode. Well done. Like,
well, Mass Effect has, you completed on normal, you completed on, I think the next step up is veteran, and then you completed on insanity.
Yeah.
But also in Mass Effect, you've got the option to turn off pretty much all story decisions. So it only plays out a certain story.
I'll ask you this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm currently playing Mass Effect Andromeda and Insanity, and holy shit, am I having a bad time.
If I was to tell you right now that while we play D&D, there is actually no way for your character to die because that's not how I play, would you continue playing?
Yeah. I like your world. I like the little Sunday get-togethers we have.
Oh, interesting. Ooh. Okay, interesting.
We have someone over here that wouldn't play because there's no sense of dread. Like, you could just run into the middle of a fight and go, I'm going to Junkrat. And then, like, paint me like one of your French girls, BBEG.
Oh, definitely.
We need a mic over there.
Like, I agree. Like, some of the best moments we've had, like, I remember, I think the first campaign that we did with me involved, where we did the, is it Waterdeep that we did? No.
Oh, what?
Under the mountain with the mage and
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And how we were walking through and we come across a black ooze.
Yeah.
And like my character got absolutely messed up. Like that was fun. I was like, let's go, let's do. But at the same time, like I'm more than happy to come around on a Sunday, roll some dice, have a good time, have a bit of laughs, just enjoy it.
Interesting. I think that's the thing. Like, I think it depends on precedent.
Yeah. If an opportunity arises for my character to get absolutely thrown out a window, do it.
Your next encounter's in trouble, by the way, buddy. Just saying.
The gun's
I was just going to say, like, there's an element of precedent, I think, there too. Like, if a precedent's been set with the players ahead of time that it's a no-death situation, act as goofy as you like, be creative, then that in itself can breed its own engagement too, right? Like, if I had a no-death mode in a game that I for some reason decided to try, then there'd be things I'd do in there that I'd do differently because it's like, haha, goofy, let's see how long I can make this work and, even make content out of it in a way, but that's my content creator brain going haywire. But obviously, if I was in because I'm playing a D&D campaign now myself as well, if I was told as the class that I am, there was no risk of death in the combat scenes, I'd be like, like, what are we doing here? So it depends. It depends on what we're doing. What class? Fighter. I'm playing fighter at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Fair. Yeah, we've got a monk over here, and our fighter is in chat now, right now.
But also,
exactly.
As Bojo has said, there are different ways to fail in D&D other than dying.
Yeah, but not
also a good point.
Like you can massive screw up the campaign and
but you can keep playing.
Not if you get locked in jail.
Yeah, you can.
With absolutely no chance of escape.
That's where if you have a shit DM, they'll be like, and now you live out your time in jail. But if you had a good DM, then one of your factions that you've joined up with would break you out.
That's true.
And then be like, haha, now suffer your consequences.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Like it is like obviously a different approach. Definitely. But like if I come into it, no one, there's no way for me to die. Like I'm still going to play because, it's one of my only outlets to actually get out and hang with buds and have that that community sort of experience that you build with your friends over the course of a couple of years playing a campaign. Like, you get attached to your character whether it can die or not.
Yes. And this is a good point. Cookie's saying, this isn't a situation where it's like no one can ever die. It's like it's just someone is able to do it, someone is not able to do it. So I think for me, I found it silly. Thank you everyone for showing me that it is not silly. It is fair enough.
There is a market for it.
Yeah, I'll own my misjudgment in this situation and say this time around, Dark Souls does not mean that every other game needs to be as hard as it.
No, but also I would like to have an option.
Apologies. Well, there is going to be an option. So
yeah, there will be one. Yeah, funnily enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's. I guess. I'm also just coming out of Hellblade 2, which was that really, really hard to die cinematic walking adventure, and I didn't like it.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
I died once, and it was because I got stun locked in a very stupid way.
Yeah.
And apart from that, I had no issues through the whole game. And I think that made it so I just watched
a movie, essentially.
Watched a movie and pressed W. And I was like, woohoo!
Yes. Yeah,
We
very
should
nice.
force Anthony to play Dragon Age on the no death mode.
Yeah.
That's a channel point reward waiting to happen right there. I'm just saying, Nick.
No, that's the next Gaming on Cancer charity run.
Just
Oh,
chat picks decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
could you?
What's our next? What's our
actually.
next
Yeah.
fake news?
No, that was it. That
was the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I like that. That was.
But
cool.
I think that's a good segment.
It
I think
is,
we'll
yeah.
keep that in, yeah.
That's fun. It promotes conversation.
Yes. So
It's good.
outside
Yeah, it's good fun.
of the gaming news, Cam, what are you playing at the moment? What games
Cam.
have you been playing at the moment?
What are you playing?
Oh, Struth. What haven't I been playing? No. So at the moment, sorry. my inner
Bloody
Aussie bogan
legend.
really emerged there for a moment. X Defiant has stolen my life at the moment. It's weird, right? X Defiant, it's nothing special, but it's just good enough to keep me interested. And it's really the Call of Duty game that I wanted for so long and haven't gotten, and now I finally got it.
Right. So I was the same. I watched one of your shorts. I think I watched one of your shorts and went, "Oh, this looks interesting." I downloaded it, and I run through that the tutorial area, and the movement one where you shoot the targets as you're trying to get through the course really quickly reminded me so much of COD 2 Modern Warfare 2 that I was just like, this is amazing. I spent maybe like 40 minutes
Takes you back, right?
on that tutorial area just for
nice.
fun.
Yeah.
And then when I hopped in the
It's so
game, I was
good.
like, it's fantastic.
It's basic,
basically
but
COD.
it's
It's what I want. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
That's it. And it's like
basic
we're in a market now where we're in a market now where games are always trying to outdo each other. They're trying to compete, which is fair. You come to expect it. But sometimes, like I'm a true believer in that. Sometimes there's value in simplicity and value in going back to basics, right? Like you don't need cracked wall running movement in every single game. Don't get me wrong, it's good when it's done right. Titanfall 2, one of the best first person shooters games of all time.
Yeah. Titanfall was fantastic. Yeah.
Great game. But yeah, it's like it goes back to that. It harkens back to that back to basics sort of elements too. Another game that I've been playing a lot lately that unfortunately I've not had a chance to play as often at the moment because it's kind of going through a real valley of updates and stuff like this. BattleBit Remastered. For those that don't know, it's a low poly first person shooter game that has 127 people per team, so 254 player matches.
Holy shit.
That's insane.
Massive maps, destruction, battle. It's basically Battlefield but low poly, and it's so much fun. But that has also suffered. Let me say the symptoms of developers adding more and more scope to their update and never getting the update out.
I think I saw somebody say something about that in chat earlier. The 127 by 127 matches, which would be insane.
So I've watched some of your videos on BattleBit. Because when we first met you and we spoke about the podcast, I was like, all right, I'm going to do my research. What does Cam do? So I went on and watched some of the BattleBit. And to be honest, I was intrigued. I was very intrigued. I was like, this looks really cool. This looks like a really unique concept as well. The low poly looks nice. I'm a Minecrafter. It's that sort of graphics. I play it, every day.
And it goes to show that you don't need next level graphics to make a good game. Like it can be simple and still get the job done. Which is
all you need to do is get the basics right. Like in most cases, if you've got a game that comes out and you get the basics right, the game's gonna be pretty good. You just need a decent gameplay loop. You need a decent incentive as to move on, and at least decent visuals in the regards to like it's not glitching out everywhere and
technically sound. I like to call it.
Yeah. So it does. Yeah, it does look good. It does look good.
So
That's cool.
It's now you've made me lose my train of thought. You're just sitting over there like lovingly looking at it.
Just trying to derail the conversation.
Legit hit him with the flashbang right there. I saw that. That was fantastic.
So XDefiant has taken up your life.
Yeah, at the moment it has. I think I've dropped over 100 hours in it already, which is not good. No, not nice. No, it's no, it's not good. No, it's that's taken over my life lately. Besides that, like I'm just thinking back to other games I've been like Helldivers. Obviously, is always a bit of fun to romp around in from time to time.
Still haven't bought that.
It's a good time. It's a very good time.
You lose a lot of hours on it very quickly.
Yeah, that's fine. I lose a lot of errors on a lot of things.
I guess that's sort of it right now, though. I'm doing a bit of Enshrouded off stream and as an offline game as well, but that's really it. Like, the content train has really been dictating what games I've been playing lately, and because of that, those games have very much taken up
most
my life,
of the time.
essentially.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a bit of a throwback and get into some of the older games that I used to love to, try and recapture that feel of why I like games in the first place, because I struggle a lot lately with like playing some of the newer games and actually finishing them. So I'm like going back. I did a complete playthrough of 1, 2, and 3 of Mass Effect 3, playing Mass Effect Andromeda now. Was doing a Dragon Age playthrough, just the games that I love, and I'm just trying to get that. Trying to get that vibe.
Are you searching for your spark and you're finding it?
Trying to, yeah.
Everybody in the club start bouncing.
Trying to find that spark, yeah.
Sorry.
Just gonna
love it.
I'll show myself out.
Yeah. Too good.
Yeah, I've been playing. I just finished up a playthrough of Hellblade.
I can't even watch the game anymore.
And I played.
It just refuses to open. I've deleted it. I've reinstalled it. I've updated the Xbox app that I'm launching it through. Nothing works.
Funnily enough, if you do want to see my experience with it, it's up on the YouTube now. First episode's up. They are long episodes because the thing with Hellblade is it's very story focused. Like what we were saying before, those 24-hour straight through runs. I've got commentary in mind and I'm breaking it up per chapter. But
nice.
It's hard to break it up any other way.
Yeah.
I tried.
Well,
I tried editing
like
it down, and it's just like, nah.
That small amount that I played, you're walking, and it's making you walk, and everybody's just talking constantly. So you can't even jump skip from 20 minutes worth of walking to a bit of combat. Like it's just you have to show the entire thing, otherwise nothing makes sense.
Yeah,
and the voices are always saying something new that actually does have meaning to the story
and contributes. Yeah.
I've been playing that. I've been playing the crap out of Slay the Spire. I love that game so much. I love the game.
Slay the Spire,
so
interesting.
much.
It'll be cool when number 2 comes out.
Nice.
You can play that too.
Yeah, I've been playing that a lot. That's probably the game and the content I watch the most at the moment.
Yeah, nice.
Would not be able to stream it because I get extremely frustrated with it. But anyway.
Yeah, I recently bought a bunch of games from the is it whatever the special that is on right now?
The summer sale.
Summer sale. Yeah.
A bunch of games nice and cheap.
There's a lot of things on my wish list that are looking back at me, and I'm just thinking, please stop my wallet. Can they take so much?
I saw a bunch of things: $2, $8, $9, 90% off. I'm like, add.
Yeah. The summer sale has been nuts from what I've heard from other people. Been crazy.
Yes.
Speaking of sales, is there any games you're looking forward to that are coming out soon?
Oh my God. Great question. There's obviously, looking forward to is a strong word with this one, but there's obviously the new COD coming, Black Ops 6.
Yes.
We're up to, I think. Yeah.
It's just a horse being beaten.
It really is. Yeah. There's some features in there that I'm looking at and I'm going, that could be cool. Like the omnidirectional movement and stuff like that. Like as someone who sweats in FPS games, I'm like, okay, I can actually, this looks like a decent mechanic to add that doesn't break the game's movement and leaves it ungrounded. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Besides that, I haven't really been keeping up as much on the up and comers. I guess that there's that Arena Breakout Infinite, which is like that extraction shooter thing that's taking on Tarkov. You've also got the game I was talking about earlier being Delta Force. So those are games that I'm definitely keeping an eye out for. But besides that, I guess the BattleBit update that we're so badly waiting for. Looking forward to that too.
Has that been announced, or is that something you guys are just hoping is coming?
So that was announced. So the last update BattleBit got was in November of last year. This update has received delays 5 times, around about.
That's a good effort.
And the scope keeps changing of said update.
Yeah.
That's a good effort on the devs side.
It is
How
a
long can we delay
real
this for?
stand-up effort.
Is that the coming TM?
They kept throwing ETAs up, and they kept failing to meet them. So the community's a little brittle with them at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, these chairs.
But yeah, but it's a
fair.
massive update. It was originally an audio update. Now they're planning on, changing the audio, the animations, the some of the maps. They're adding weather effects. They're changing the game's entire time to kill balance. Like they're doing everything. So it's like, guys, just get something out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just release the game at this point.
Just do small updates.
Basically.
Just do small updates. Yeah.
That's my argument for scrap mechanic.
Well, that does end our section of the gaming part of the podcast. At this point in time, we are going to take a little bit of a break, and when we do get back, we are going to be diving into YouTube content and content
journey
in general, and that sort of some of those harder questions, the mental health style stuff based around content creation as well. So hang around for that. I'm really excited for this because this is our first YouTuber.
Yeah, proper YouTuber. Yeah, we've had Twitch, we've had devs, we've had a couple of other people.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one.
Or at least nobody who's solely dedicated. You pretty much only YouTube, yeah?
No, streams.
On Twitch?
Streams as well, but
on Twitch, yeah.
YouTube is my bread and butter.
Yeah,
YouTube's my bread and butter.
And you can see it in the videos too.
I just assumed that you streamed on YouTube as well.
It's there's a lot to learn from this, man. So I'm excited to try and dig into your mind a little bit. But for everyone watching at home, everyone listening on the podcast, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. For the podcast, it'll be like a second for you guys, but
you won't even notice.
We will be back very, very shortly, so hang tight. And we are back. Are you in camera?
Am I? Yeah. I'm just green. You just can't see me.
Yeah. Lucky we don't have any
effects going?
Chroma keys on you over there.
Not yet.
We can put a fish there. We can put a robot there. Anything, whatever we want.
I could looking at myself. I can make my head stretch real far. Sorry.
Anyway, on that note, welcome back, everyone. Like I said, we're going to be diving into content, gaming, sort of your journey through both gaming, the content journey, live streaming, everything. Feel free at any point to just say to me, no.
Stop it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. So what I wanted to start off with was how long have you been gaming for, and what made you get into gaming?
Tell us.
How long have I been gaming for? Struth. I'm gonna say, look, I was too young to remember properly when I started, but it was definitely like I remember my first ever game. The first game I ever touched was Need for Speed High Stakes on my father's computer. So it wasn't Hot Pursuit. It was the high stakes mode. I think it was an offshoot of Hot Pursuit at the time, but it was a really, really good game. Basically started out with that. So that's really what got me into it. But then it was like, I think my first console was a jailbroken Xbox original.
Nice.
Nice.
So I had all of the games on there preloaded and stuff like that. And that's sort of where the slippery slope into madness really commenced. And it definitely, like me and like my cousin as well and my brother, we were all massive gamers. So like we just sort of pinged off each other. And eventually, like, it'd be, we all come to each other's house, start playing games. And that's sort of where I think it all started in a way. Sort of, going from there. Yeah.
So was there so having the power of Xbox at your fingertips, was there any specific game that you just you smashed constantly?
Star Wars Battlefront 2, my man. Star Wars Battlefront 2. That was the game.
I remember that game. That was fun.
Peak gaming. Like just
I used to love. I'm pretty sure that was the one you could unlock the Jedi eventually. Yeah, so you get enough kills and you unlock a Jedi. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And there was also the Jedi versus, like, it was the hero mode. So you'd all go to Mos Eisley, that map, and then you would just play the hero mode only, which was fantastic.
Yeah, I used to play that by myself.
I had no friends.
Didn't have the
Oh
internet.
no!
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
True.
You play against all the bots, and you go along, and eventually you unlock the Jedi, and you're like, I am a god. And then you get one shot and die.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it eventually got you killed. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I remember it all too well.
It's I personally haven't played Battlefront 2, not Battlefield, Battlefront 2. I know they recently did the remaster of it, but like I've seen the footage and
it ain't got nothing on the original one.
Yeah, see, okay, that's surprising because I would have picked you for a Halo, a Halo dude.
So Halo, Halo was a later entrant to me. So I got into Halo 3 and Halo and Call of Duty I got into on the 360 days.
Yeah.
That's when I started getting into that, because I was a 360 guy, and that's when I got into PC after that. But my lovely parents, God bless their soul, God bless their innocence and their not innocence, their protective tendencies, spotted some of the blood and gore in these games and went, not 2 year older young man. So because I was 7 at the time when I started like getting when we got our first consoles in like early primary school days, and like, nah, this is too much. And I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Fair shout, man. Fair shout.
Understandable. Have a good day. Anyway. Like I got into Halo 3 was my first Halo, and I know for many that is going to be a crime against humanity. I'm well aware.
Well, no,
but
did you go back and play 1 and 2?
I did. I most certainly did.
We can accept that.
Great games.
Halo 3 is a good entry point anyway. Halo 3 is a great game.
It is.
And then all it makes you want to do is go, I wonder what 1 and 2 is like.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And you want to catch up on the story and stuff like that. Like, exactly right.
Have you not played 1 and 2?
I've played all of them.
Oh,
I own all of them. But like,
I was about to witness a slap on stream there for a moment.
This is not okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it, but like, how did this happen?
I do understand that. I hadn't played 2, so I played 1, and then I skipped 2 and played 3 because we had an Xbox briefly.
Every Xbox I have owned has been a Halo Xbox.
Yeah,
I've only bought the exclusives.
Oh.
So I refuse. So I did play the most recent one, but I didn't buy an Xbox because they didn't release a Halo one.
They
so I don't have the
one.
latest Xbox because I refused to buy it.
So we had the Xbox early on, and then it broke. And we didn't get number 2, and then I got a 360 as a teenager. And one of the first games I got on it was Halo 3. And
nice.
I was
very
like,
nice,
nostalgic, like, oh my god, this shit's all over Halo 1. and then everyone was like, oh, but Halo 2 is really, really good. And I was like, oh no, surely it can't be that good. Wow.
And then you go back and play, and you're like, oh damn, okay.
I used to just love going and putting all the skulls that I possibly could on and just having a good time.
Oh, such a great time.
So like, I'm not a Souls fan particularly, but I am a put all the skulls on in Halo fan. And
skulls on Halo fan, yeah. And we cannot forget about the greatest theme that an electric guitar has ever touched, the Halo 2 theme.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I love it.
So when that music kicks in, you're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And then you get about 100 grenades loaded at you.
Even just the orchestral part of that, like the singing in that game is insane.
Yeah.
It's like chills.
It just unlocks the inner masculine urge to throttle a grunt. It's
as Mr. Cookie's just put in the chat something about Breaking Benjamin. This was my introduction to Breaking Benjamin. Halo 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there you go.
And like, I got hooked on Breaking Benjamin from there.
A lot of people did. I remember it was massive at school for ages.
Yeah, 100%.
There were people wearing Breaking Benjamin shirts. People dressing like the band as well, because they had a distinct dress style too.
Oh yeah.
So was it always FPS? Oh no, you did say Need for Speed, but
you can sort of count that as an FPS in a lot of ways. It's first person.
Oh, elaborate. Hang on a minute.
It's not necessarily a shooter, but you can play first person. It's fast paced. It's high speed. It's action.
Sorry, I'm just drawing the bow. Really.
But also, if you car back
in the same way that
some of the
Minesweeper is romantic.
It could be. You could meet the love of your life playing competitive Minesweeper.
I like this. I like this tangent we're going down.
It's the optimism, all right? I need to meet the love of my life somehow.
But yeah, so you mentioned Need for Speed as one of the first ones, but sort of once you got that Xbox, was that FPS all the way, or did you venture into other genres as well?
Like, I've always been a racing fan because I like motorsport IRL. Like, I'm a huge motorsport guy. But in saying that, like, once I sort of really got the FPS itch, and I want to say that was COD 4, Halo 3 that really got me into it. Yeah, that was kind of it. Like, that was the tipping point that kind of got me into it. And I realized I sort of unlocked a competitive side in me that I didn't know existed. And I was like, oh, shit, here we go. So it's like, yeah, it's certain once the train got going and left the station, it didn't really stop.
Yeah,
we gained momentum at that point. Yeah,
it's kind of funny. I went the other way.
You went from FPS to
I went from like obviously my first experiences and all with Nintendo and all that, but like proper like modern gaming is your Halos and your GTAs and all that sort of stuff. But I went from like, heck yeah, I love the FPS genre to basically only and exclusively playing story-based games.
Lazy.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I'm just kidding.
It also helped that I didn't have internet access.
Yes, that was a big one for me.
That's fair.
So like, you know, playing your Anno 1612 or whatever it was, and like all your Age of Empires, Fable, many hours in Fable, Mass Effects, all that sort of stuff. Like,
see, I got into FPS late because we didn't have the internet growing up. So once I hit 18, I got the internet. That was when when I really got the bug. Prior to, I played Halo like hundreds of times. Love that game. There was
but I'm also not a huge
Halo, Perfect Dark Zero.
Oh yeah,
Perfect Dark Zero. Yep.
And Call of Duty World at War, the campaign for that, which was fantastic. And then the zombie mode on that.
The zombie mode, which
me and my brother. We used to, school holidays, we'd get all of our snacks. We'd say, like, we'd have all of our pocket money, go down the shops, get a whole bunch of snacks, sit back, and just try and get to the highest level we could on the zombies.
Highest waves,
Amazing.
Exactly.
I never experienced that too much.
But then but I also played, like, Fable and I'm
not a huge, even to this day, I'm not a huge fan of, like, PvP.
Yeah.
And your wave mode style.
Fair.
Like the only wave mode that I really enjoyed was like, I think we spoke about it the other week, Gears of War.
Yes, yeah.
Like that was just fun, but that was more because it was absolutely fucking brutal. And being a 15-year-old being able to chainsaw somebody in half, like, come on.
It just satisfies the itch. Yeah,
exactly.
I get it.
The internet.
I'm not a psychopath.
I do agree that opening up that competitive line, especially when you've got the internet, you're playing against other people. You've got your mates who are playing as well, and there's that little bit of competitive edge going on between you guys. It's like, what's your KD? Mine's 0.23. What's yours? Mine's 4. Well, I better start practicing. You know,
it's like, oh damn, okay, yeah, sure.
Am I that shit? No.
This is where I sit.
That does push the gaming so hard.
It's kind of funny for somebody who doesn't actually play a lot of your PvP and all that sort of stuff. Generally, I quit while I'm ahead. So when my KD is nice and low, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I don't generally hit under 1, but I like to sit at about 1. You know, 1 death, 1 kill. You know, eye for an eye sort of deal.
That's
but once
my
neutral.
KD is really good.
I didn't say it was good, but like, you know, and if I start to get a little bit cocky and stuff, it goes up 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, you want it to go. You want it to go. Up.
No. Like my deaths start to go up, so my kill death ratio starts to go
up.
Up. Yeah, and I'm like, oh no.
So what about content? When did you start content? You said 12 years you've been making content for.
Yeah, so I started in 2012,
Is your first
October, I
video
think,
still
roundabout.
up?
So great question. Great question. I don't know. I took a lot of stuff. I did offline a lot of stuff lately.
Mhm.
But I didn't take it down. I just unlisted the video rather than deleting it. But it might be.
Because
It
that'd
might
be
very well be.
a cool thing to see. 12 years of YouTube
The
compiled down into like a 30-minute video, you know?
Yeah, it would. The irony of it is my first ever video was on Skyrim, funnily
Oh,
enough.
nice.
Nice.
It was a Skyrim welcome to the channel video, which
Heck
was
yeah.
cringe as hell, and I encourage no one to go watch it. But
Hang on.
Loading.
everyone, no, we're not doing that. Absolutely not. But yeah, no. Basically, moving on 12 years as of this year. So
Nice.
yeah,
Congrats.
sort of. Thank you, thank you. The sanity has definitely taken a dip in the process, but we're here now, so it's fine.
So, how did you make the jump to content creation? What was the push?
Yeah,
To what made that decision? Was it just a spur of the moment thing? Hey, I'm going to upload a video, or was there some other sort of drive to it?
there was a few things I think. Like at the time, like I wasn't going out much as a kid back then. I would come home and I'd play games. Like that was my jam. And I was like, I was obviously like watching a lot of YouTube at the time. I was watching the likes of Jack Frags, Matimio, and Level Cap Gaming in particular because they were getting into the Battlefield scene quite a bit. They were starting to do like guides for Battlefield 3 at the time, and I was sort of sitting there like, I'm doing all this work, right? I was doing all this like work playing games and like, spending a lot of time. I was like, can I do something more with this? Like, can I actually start doing more with the time that I'm allocating to this? And I'd always had a passion for photography and a little bit of videography, but I hadn't had a chance to really delve into it at that point too much. Um, so I said to myself, let's start a YouTube channel. Let's start doing some stuff. Um, it was really bad at the time, as someone who, wasn't really into doing public speaking. Yeah, so I guess it was a combination of wanting to do more with my time and also wanting to explore my passion for creative media a bit more. But I also just I wanted to build a community that was passionate about the same things I was. Like I'm in ACT. I'm in Canberra. The gaming culture down here was not prevalent at the time, right? So there was an element of also not feeling at one with my peers at school. Like I would want to talk video games at the mall, and they'd want to talk about footy or something else, music, whatever it be. So I was like, okay, I'll go forge a path elsewhere in that
Can
regard
relate
to
to
try
that.
and find yeah,
Yeah,
which I think a
Country
lot of
town.
content creators can.
we
Yeah.
spoke about it a little bit. I think it was last week where I stopped playing video games.
Yes, it was last week.
So I was one of those footy heads. I
Yep.
played country footy all the way through from like grade 6 to year 11. And it was about that year 10, year 11 point where people were starting to, talk a little bit more about what's going on at home and things like that.
Yeah.
And someone found out I played Pokemon at 16.
Okay.
And I got the shit bullied out of me. And
Yeah, there you go.
and there was one point, I think it was actually no, it was a little bit earlier than that. I think it was like year 9. A new Pokemon had come out. I went down to pick it up because I pre-ordered it. Went down, I was so excited about it. Went and picked it up. I got back and I just basically got confronted. And they were like, what do you got? What do you got there? And I was like, just a game.
Just a game,
So
bro.
I stopped playing for that exact reason. And I
Wow.
focused on
Yeah,
footy.
okay.
I got extremely toxic.
Yep.
My cousin, who we played a lot of video games with, who's in the chat right now, he didn't even talk to me for a while because I was literally a piece of shit.
Can't blame him.
So I fully understand. I fully understand what you're talking about there.
Can I ask? At the
Yes.
time, I'm assuming you were quite young as well. How did your parents go about it? Were they supportive? Were they like,
Oh yeah.
Because I know, especially, I think you're about our age. Back then, my parents Mum and a couple of her family members were into gaming a little bit, so they were a little bit supportive of what I do. They bought me my first Game Boy, all that sort of stuff. But I didn't have any access to the internet until I was in my teens. So
yeah, there's
how was that? Yeah.
It was a journey. So yeah, like nowadays they are super supportive of what I do. They're very and partly because I'm out of their hair. To be fair, I live on my own, so like it's a plus there. But no, no,
Mom, can you help me upload this YouTube video? It's not working.
Get off the internet, guys! I'm trying to upload a video. Fuck. Anyway.
Mum, are you making a phone call?
You're making me lag, Mum. Damn it. No. They're super supportive now. Well, like every time we catch up, they'll ask me about it. We'll have a good chat, stuff like that, because, there's cool opportunities and things like that. But I will admit, when I started telling them about how I wanted to build a $2,500 PC and then start making content, there was some friction there. And on top of that, like, friction around, like, oh, you should be using this time to go and get a part-time job. Like, you're getting to that age. Why you're doing this, go get a job, stuff like that. So there was definitely some friction there. And, me and my dad in particular butted heads quite a bit on it. But he has also, as we've had these conversations and as I've, built a career outside of it and still do this as a hobby, they're super supportive. So there was certainly that element of friction at the time. Because, I was... how old was I? 15 when I started making content. So there was certainly an element of, and I think there's also that element of being a youngster on the internet in a realm dominated by adults. There's obviously an element of fear there that, what if someone tries to exploit our young baby boy on the internet, you know what I mean? But
so, going through that at the moment.
Which is understandable. It's so I've worried about. I'm not a child, and I've worried about that about myself.
Yeah, of course.
Like on that whole thing, like as you discovered recently with Mum's partner, he doesn't understand it. Like he's happy I'm doing something, but I've had the conversation with multiple times. Like, hey, why don't you just use all this knowledge you've got about computers and make some money off of it? And I'm like, this is what I do for fun.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think
I would love to make money off it, but this is my wind down. This is, I play games because I want to, not because, obviously nowadays making content and all that sort of stuff is a little bit different. But when we tried to explain the podcast to him over dinner one night.
And this is where it comes down to, I've had this conversation 15 or 20 times with people that I know. So when it comes to that, I've got my answers pre-prepared.
Yeah.
And I'm not in it for an argument. So I diffuse the situation as quickly as possible and go, yep, we're good. Yeah. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what his basic questions were. What would I enjoy the podcast?
How do you make money?
Do you like gaming? No. Do you like content creation? No. Then you won't. Don't watch it.
Then you're not going to enjoy the podcast. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How do you make money? At the moment, it's a hobby. There's the little bits here and there coming in, but this is how you could potentially make money. Oh, interesting. Do people actually do that? I'm like, yeah.
Boy, do they? Yeah, exactly.
And I think at the time I brought up the League of Legends Championship.
I think so. Yeah,
League of Legends,
the massive pot.
The massive pot. And I think they broke a record.
Yes.
2 years ago with the most attending and most overall viewers of a sports something or other. So they beat the NBA crazy. And the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, and they're the facts that I give. To
and that's when
you
start to make the connections, whether you can see them being like, oh, okay, this isn't just some dude in his basement, talking to a bunch of randoms on the internet.
Yes,
like these people do it for a living.
Yeah.
That's it. And there was obviously that conversation with my folks at the time. I was like, people do this for a living, and I'd really like to pursue that as well if the opportunity presents itself. But of course, you often see, and a lot of content creators will fall into this trap as well. You see the amount of effort being put in for the amount of return that you're getting, and and then obviously relatives, friends, family, whatever it may be, will obviously question that. They'll go, well, hang on, you could be doing so much more. So you'd be doing so much less for so much more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why are you going down this route? And as you say, guys, it comes down to both the fact that it's a hobby, but also the passion. I think, we have that passion that means we want to follow that path, right?
I've had it multiple times where over the last 2 years, like a lot's gone on in life. I've had a new baby come along.
Adorable
I've
baby.
had some family stuff happen, a bunch of things, and I haven't been able to be as dedicated to streaming as I once was. And those numbers have fallen, and they've jagged here and there, and people are like, "Why are you still doing it?"
Because
I love it.
Yeah, it's what's that saying? Is it's that do what you love or whatever it is.
It's if you do what you love, you won't spend a single day working. Or
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go. Yeah.
And it's the thing I look forward to every night. And when I can't do it, I'm heartbroken. I'm like, oh, man, really wanted to do that tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't see, because a lot of people have a working job that they're not like that with. So they're just like, but why are you doing it if you're not earning money? It's like, who cares?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you earning money anyway? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix all night, you're not earning money.
No.
It's similar, right? It's like, it's
exactly.
Yeah.
It's fun. We get to hang out with these lovely people. We can't necessarily talk to them all the time, but we have lovely guests like yourself on, and it's just a really good way, I think, to spend a Friday night.
And I can't imagine what that would have been like 12 years ago too.
No.
Because the space was so new. Like, content creation was such a new area. So trying to explain that to someone in that area would have been,
especially with the mindset around work 10 to 12 years ago, like completely different to what it is today.
Very different world. Yeah, that's it. And it's just a matter of again, the world has matured since then. And in my particular situation, my folks have become far more understanding of the world that they operate in. Like, even my mum has an Instagram account that's got several thousand followers on it because she likes taking photos and stuff. It's like, oh, cool,
Congrats,
good
Mum.
on her. Like, well done. So,
GG mum.
yeah, GG mum. Sure. Exactly. Like, she even lent into it a bit as well. So it's like, okay, cool. It's that uplifting of knowledge and that uplifting of understanding that happens over time, which is really cool.
And I think as the technology gets more and more introduced, because I'm the same. I've got family members that older family members that use it for mostly like Instagram for letting family know what they've been up to, but then they start getting a little bit of a following, because it's not just about a good example is my dad. My dad is a leather worker. He makes
really
medieval
cool
style leather things, but he posts it
woodworking too, doesn't he?
Yeah, but mostly it's the leather work. But he goes and does festivals all over Australia, and it's a cool lifestyle. It really is. And he posts to Instagram to basically show us what he's been up to, and through that he gets followers, because people are like,
his
what is
process
this?
of like building and like putting things together would make really cool TikTok videos.
It would if
he would want
there's a social media strategy right there.
If his ADHD would allow him.
Oh no, definitely. Like seeing the process of like him carving out those really cool things, and then cutting to like a finished product.
Yeah, we've tried it. We have tried it. He's got a YouTube channel. We tried it, and it got far too intricate, far too quickly. It was like, what if we do this and overlay it with this, and then put this sound behind it, and then we'll do this and this. I'm like, Dad, calm
chill.
down,
Just chill,
calm down.
One step at a time.
But it's also really cool to see that somebody who is a blokey bloke, proper bloke, getting down and being like, hey guys, check out my leatherwork on Instagram, let's go. Like, I'm just sitting there, just imagine him with his he's got big hands, big woodwork and leatherworking hands, scars, pits and stuff. He's just typing away like, check out my new postcard.
It's literally
it's amazing.
Ones. It's these ones. He takes the photo and then he's like,
I love it. And that's one of the things that I like about today and the way that things are. It's so accessible.
Yes, it is. It is
so accessible.
It's so I think my first attempt, so would that have been about 2011, 2012?
2012, yeah. So my channel launched October 2012, and that was like around about when the first video ever came out.
I started in 2012. I quit very soon after, but at the time, for me, doing
I did a Halo playthrough.
I didn't have a PC, so I had a laptop, and it was what was it called? Framps, I think it was called. Was the software to record your screen? I think it was Framps.
Fraps. Yes,
Fraps. Yeah.
Yes, I used Fraps as well. Yeah.
But then I also played on console, so I needed something to. So I got a dodgy capture card for like it was $110, and it was like Temu style capture card.
I remember Fraps.
And it was bad. But now you can get a capture card for $100 and it's Elgato.
Exactly. Yeah. It's easy easy as hell to set up, plug and play, and then you're off to the races. Exactly.
It's kind of funny because I found out about Fraps through Minecraft players.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like the Yogscast used to record with Fraps before they got
proper
professional.
I think that's where I seen mine as well, actually.
Because they used to obviously they were pretty big in the Minecraft scene, but they were also independent, their own little like in their own homes and stuff before they had a studio and a proper recording thing. Like I remember watching one of the videos, they did a bit of a Q&A and they were like, "Oh, we use Fraps to record," and I'm like, "Download,
download." Yeah,
how can I do this?
So on that note, YouTube is a hard beast, and you seem to do it really, really well. As you've said, you've got quite literally a decade of experience within the area.
That's impressive.
And your videos are well polished. I enjoy watching them, even if like coming into it, I'd never heard of BattleBit before.
I still don't know what it is. Honestly.
I was really impressed. Could you give us a quick look at what it's like to make a kamikaze video? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Geez, it's.
I think. Do you have a process? Like, do you you script and then record and then?
Cringe.
Yeah, there's a bit of both really. It depends on the style of video I'm making. So if it's a lot of my content will either be like guide format where it'll be all about teaching players about a certain thing, or here's the best loadout to use, or it may be a live commentary, or it may be like an opinion piece or an update piece, so on and so forth. So generally speaking, if it's a guide piece, it'll be a matter of me testing stuff in game for a really long time. Like I'll be in the game, I'll be playing with, let's just say for argument's sake, I'm doing a weapon review, playing with the weapon, playing with the game, learning what the best stuff is, and then taking notes as I'm doing it, research, all that fun stuff. And then it's all about like the script. So yeah, I script my videos from start to finish. Sometimes there will be dot points that I'll just ramble off on if I feel like there's a slightly more relaxed format I can take, or if I've got certain key stats I can ramble off on, then I can do that. But other than that, I will actually write from word to word and read a script as it is.
That's cool.
Just because my wacky brain seems to manage remembering stuff easiest that way. Otherwise I find I get on tangents. But there's that sort of process. Then it's obviously, recording it, editing, all that fun stuff. Funnily enough, these days I've managed to I truncate my edit process down pretty significantly. If I'm not doing like graphic overlays and stuff like that, I'd say one of the longest single step stages now I have for content creation is in the writing stage and in the thumbnail creation stage. Funnily enough, for some reason that takes me the longest. It doesn't help that now YouTube has thumbnail testing that lets you do 2 to 3 thumbnails a video and work out which one's performing the best.
I didn't know that.
It's a very new thing. I think it's within the last week or two.
It makes sense because
about last couple weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
People see the thumbnail, and if they don't like the thumbnail, they won't click it.
Yes. Yeah. And they're allowing you to do 3 of them. They send all 3 of them out to different audiences, and the one that gets the best click through.
That explains why the thumbnails have been changing on some of the videos that I've been watching lately.
Yes, potentially.
Yep.
Yep.
So they're reading what the click-through rate is like and which thumbnails bounce audio. Yeah. So long and short of it, like that's sort of the behind the scenes as to a Cami video. I do a lot of news stuff as well. So if I get hint of an update coming, or if I get hint of something that's launched elsewhere, then it'll be a matter of jumping in, getting gameplay, editing things down, and then moving to edit stage essentially. Which turns out it can be a well-oiled machine at times, but then there can also be sometimes you get like a spanner in the works where the gameplay is corrupted or something like that. You got to go back and do it again, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think we did
that's
chat about
generally the flow, I guess.
At DreamHack, because you've got a lot of yours just set up like pre-set up, right? So your color grading is preset. Your some of your not thumbnails, but pop-ups and stuff are preset, which I think is amazing. And you've got templates for different styles. And you just sort of cut and pop in, and then it's done, which is great. Workflow-wise, it's fantastic.
It's yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, thanks for the gentle reminder there, because I knew I was forgetting something in that little spiel there, and that's exactly what I forgot. Yeah, something that definitely helps as far as the process of a YouTube video is concerned is eliminating the doubling up of work, right? So like obviously my intro section is templated, my color correcting, as you said, is templated. Even my thumbnails to a certain extent have templating on them, to the point where I don't have to put the little kamikaze logo in the bottom left of the thumbnail every time. And the same goes to the social media part. So yeah, there's a lot you can do to streamline your process in the YouTube world, where you can actually spend your time focusing on what makes that individual video unique, and then the classic branding assets, the classic rotational stuff, even your EQ on your audio can be templated. So if you focus on streamlining that process, you can focus on actually making the substance of the content, which is the topic and what you're going to talk about, which goes a long way to streamlining the process where it can be best done.
Which the more time you can spend on that content, the better off it's going to be.
Yes.
We're in that process now of trying to learn that. We're in the fact that most of the videos we're making, I'm still learning how to edit. So the content isn't the best, but I'm using it for the way of editing, because it's completely new to me. I'd like to get that. After talking to you, I've spent a little bit of time making some templates here and there, so our thumbnails are more consistent.
Yes.
Now the logo is in the same place on every single thumbnail, rather than it being like slightly a little bit off, or there's a different color on a layer or something like that, because you forget which layer you've done something on.
Exactly.
That has helped big time. And
I'm glad.
And I think these are the things these are the reasons we're asking content creators these questions, because for someone new coming into the game, you can watch as many how to do YouTube videos, and they don't cover these small things.
No, they don't. I can attest.
There's so many small things that you can pick a creator's brain, and it really got to me when we were at PAX and DreamHack and talking to people like yourself and saying, oh wow, you do YouTube, what's that like? And then hearing those little things, it's a lot different from making that video and being like, now the thumbnail is important. Just make sure you've got a thumbnail that stands out. How though?
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Exactly.
But how?
What stands out to one person isn't going to stand out to another.
One thing we did notice is both of us absolutely loved it. Your DreamHack vlog.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the editing on the titles for each person, and the editing of the specs of the PCs, man, I was blown away. Absolutely blown away.
Thank you.
It was so good.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Take a bow.
That one is a system intensive After Effects process. It's also templated, funnily enough. But it is thank you. That is appreciated, because those were something I sort of started doing a few years ago and have refined a bit to try and use. It's like a cool way to do a shout out without it breaking the flow of the video, I think.
Yeah, it was really fun too.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
It was a good video.
Yeah, cheers.
What was I gonna say?
It's right there.
Well, I've misspelt where. It's supposed to be where, and I put where, so I was like, where there? What? Were there any things you found along the way that really helped improve your YouTube game?
Yeah. Where do I start? There's a few things I could get into here, I think. One of which, and ironically, I said this on my panel at DreamHack as well. Just start. A lot of people in the YouTube game, I've noticed, will get caught in analysis paralysis all the time. They'll spend, years of time, what kind of content do I make? How do I edit the video together? Your first ever video or your first ever piece of content you post on YouTube is never going to be perfect. It's going to be a learning process. You're going to be working on your brand. You're going to be working on a whole bunch of things. If you spend your entire time in analysis paralysis, trying to work out what to make, you are simply never going to make content in the first place. So like that. One of the biggest things I learned is if you've got an idea for a video, run with it, see where it takes you, and what your learnings are of that. And you know, treating every single video as a learning opportunity rather than, oh, this video failed,
Mhm.
is such a big step, because a lot of people will spend a lot of time, and I've been guilty of this too. Like even as recently as, mid late last year, where I was sort of, getting on the Battlebit train, seeing a lot of success from it, and then things died down as the game did. I caught myself sort of going, oh, videos aren't doing well anymore. It's failing. What's happening? It's like, no, no, no. You got to take a step back and look more critically at each video, because each video is going to perform differently. It's going to have its own audience, its own pros and cons, and learning what that balance of content looks like and just working on those ideas that you have is so important in the YouTube space.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, and a lot of time I've also spent learning that excuse me. Um, like the viewer's first impression of your video before they even click on the video is arguably at times more important than the video itself. Um, that thumbnail title combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's you can
if
make
there's
the best
yeah.
video that's ever been made,
Mhm.
and if you put a
Yep.
potato on top of it, chances are no one's ever going to see it. So
No one will ever see it.
yeah,
Exactly.
and it's the
It's
same as what you were saying before. Just do it. It's you
Yep.
could potentially
Just
make
do
the
it.
best video ever made, and if you don't upload it,
Yeah.
some of my most viral content ever has been the stuff that I've put absolutely no effort into.
Yeah.
And I say that openly and transparently. Like there'll be days where I do a video where I put a couple of dot points in front of me. I rant. I'm angry. Something's buggered me off. I go on a big old tirade. I'll put no text overlays in. I won't even do an intro, and it will be one of my best performing videos. And I'm like, ah, okay. And then you ride the success, but then you also learn from that too as well
yeah,
and apply
yeah,
that to future content. Um,
It's like that
so
saying,
it's
you miss every shot
yeah,
you don't take.
yes, yeah.
right, exactly. Um, yeah, so I think that's sort of the biggest thing I've learnt along the way is that you can't get stuck in analysis paralysis. You need to just do content, learn from it, and really think critically. Like I know Twitch streaming in particular, like we've had a lot of Twitch streams in the past say like, you can't, like, you got to look at your stream critically and stuff like that. But that's a 4 hour long stream, right? Like you'll
Mm.
be there for ages.
Oh, dude, yeah,
A
it
10
hurts.
hour, yeah,
It hurts. You
that's
can't
it.
do
Like
it.
no, you can't. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate listening to myself talk for 10 hours straight. Like I can't do it. Like
Yeah,
if I'm going to go back and watch my Twitch VODs to review them, I'm going to end up launching myself off the balcony,
I
right? It's
tried
just
it.
not going to work.
I tried it
Yeah.
at one point. I think it was about 2 years ago. Every
Yeah.
morning, this is while I was at uni. Must have been like 3 years ago, maybe. But
Yeah.
I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have a couple of hours. So I'd put I'd sit down with my breakfast, put it up on the TV, and I'd watch it. And then
Yeah.
after
Wow.
2 streams, I put it on 2 times speed. And then
Yep. There it goes.
after 4 streams, I was just like, I'm not taking anything away from this because I know exactly what I was doing. I remember this situation,
Yeah.
and this is not giving me any context whatsoever.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
It can also open the
it-
door to being overly critical on yourself.
and that's what happened. And then that was
Bingo.
my first main bout of, it helped my first main bout of burnout because I'd spend
that-
an extra 4 hours a day doing nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you weren't creating, you were getting in analysis paralysis right on the and that's what I like about YouTube so much is like whenever you launch a video, you get some of the best analytics I've ever seen of a platform out there, right? You get an indication of, okay, how many times was the video shown to somebody? What's the click-through rate on that? Of that click-through rate, what's the average view duration and for what part of the video? So like the YouTube will show you where the spikes in viewership are and where people clicked off. So like it's snapshotted data that you can learn really quickly to take those critical learnings from that you don't need to spend 4 hours working on.
Yeah.
And as YouTube analytics gotten better, that is just such a market to tap into, that I think a lot of people don't do. They'll sort of they'll upload the video, they'll look at the view counter and they'll go, oh, why is it not, like they'll prod it with a stick and go, why aren't you going up? And then not actually take note of what they could be doing better based on the very data that YouTube feeds them.
Yeah.
It's definitely workable. I've tried a couple of things recently. This has been with TikTok and Shorts at the moment.
Yeah.
But because it's hard to, once again, with the editing down of stuff, with the podcast, it's kind of just a package deal. Once it's done, it gets uploaded. I'm like, highlights of this would be out of context, sort of this one for the main part, the podcast goes up. But with our shorts, one thing I started doing was introducing the short, having a hook. So some of the best ones we've had is our streamer guide ones, where it's a short hook. We're asking streamers what 3 tips would be for their streamer survival guide. This is tip number 1. Those got 3 times the amount of views as the ones where it was just the straight up the streamer talking about.
I also think our most commented on one is the Doom one.
Shut up. I made a mistake, all right? I made a mistake.
Yeah,
I logged into it the other day and I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I made a mistake.
Wait, what you mean by that? Yeah, so what happened there? Yeah,
the hook for it was
but it was great because it was engagement.
Doom the Dark Ages is coming out, and Bethesda has hit the big guns. Literally,
like that, yeah.
Bethesda isn't the developer of Doom. ID Software is the developer of Doom. Bethesda is the publisher, and everyone was just like, "Oof." Hearing Bethesda and Doom in the same sentence, ouch. And I was like, I fucked up.
I feel like just everybody in the room just immediately went, actually, and did like the glasses raise and sort of deal.
But also, I think that was our highest engaged short.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Oh dear, yeah, okay, yeah.
Which is
Nothing
great.
like a good rage debate, right?
For a gaming news podcast, that's not good.
Right. But also, you could, take that as a...
So have you always streamed alongside of YouTube, or was that something that came in a lot after?
So my early YouTube days were very much defined by shitty internet and long render times.
Nice.
So it would be a matter of I would render a video. I think it was in Sony Vegas at the time, and it would take 4 hours to all night to render, depending on the length. So not a great start there already. Means basically like your system is unavailable for a night while it's doing its thing. No way you could stream at the same time. But I was also on ADSL +2 until around about the day I started streaming. So that was around 2016, I want to say. So like, I want to say at most 350 kilobit per second upload. Like, couldn't stream. So I never really got into streaming in the early days, unfortunately. However, my first ever streaming experience was jamming a 4G iPad onto a windowsill, plugging it into the computer, and hotspotting it.
Heck yeah.
So scuffed. It was such a jerry rig of a process and a half. So that's when I started streaming over on Twitch. But yeah, you could tell from the early days that I was very much a YouTuber coming to the Twitch land and not knowing how that operated at all.
Yeah.
So no, the short answer of that is no. I've not always streamed alongside the YouTube content. It was very much YouTube first, Twitch later.
But it does sound like you did want to do streaming at that point in time, or
there was
you may have started.
Yeah, there was a few events that I had. So back in the day when I was primarily doing PlanetSide content and sort of managed to weasel my way into that community in a way, I very much wanted to like sign up for some of their streaming events and actually be a creator for them. Unfortunately, could not do so due to the limitations of the internet at the time. So there was that. There was very much always a want to get into that game a lot earlier because I guess my strategy then and very much is now is YouTube is the cast a net, catch all the fish, bring them in, and then Twitch is the opportunity to sort of grow that community and become a bit closer with the viewers, have that more one-to-one interaction and get to know people on a deeper level who are in the community, which is an awesome way to do it.
Just quickly going back onto the what's it called?
The last topic.
the last topic with analytics and
yeah.
whatnot. Mr. Cookie said something I heard a lot of content creators saying is that at some point you got to start ignoring YouTube's feedback. For them, it felt more like YouTube trying to keep them in their little pocket and not letting them expand. Have you got any thoughts on that?
I'm not entirely sure what feedback Cookie might be referring to there. If it's analytics, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that personally, because the analytics on YouTube are very accurate, and they give you the wealth of information to tell you like how a video. So I'll actually give a real world example of how the analytics recently informed a really interesting decision I made on my end that actually came across some interesting findings. So I was uploading an X Defiant guide video, and I noticed that my X Defiant videos had really crappy click through rate because my viewers were not interested in X Defiant because it's not quite like the games that I've been playing already. So there was a disconnect there. So I thought to myself, okay, obviously the click through rate's being impacted by subscribers seeing the video because it gets pushed to them and not clicking through on it. So my thought was, what if I just don't notify my subscribers that the video's gone live and don't push it to them and let the algorithm find the audience on its own?
Mm-hmm.
In doing so, that video scored. So my X-Defiant content was sitting around about 4% click-through rate, which is average for YouTube. When I went to bed and woke up the next morning, it was sitting on around about 5,000 views and 16% click-through rate. So the algorithm found its audience naturally, didn't rely on my existing audience and pushed it out. Which to me was a big, oh, okay, like this is the algorithm actually finding that audience. And I haven't done a test since. It was a one-off sort of deal, but it was an interesting learning of, if you push your content to a bunch of subscribers that aren't into what you're pushing out, it's going to actually hurt the video performance more because it hurts the click-through rate. YouTube doesn't send it as often. So small tangent there from Cookie, but I guess that also links back to the learnings that we were talking about earlier. But I don't think it's a reason. I might be misunderstanding the question here, but I don't think you should ever avoid YouTube's analytics and its stats that it gives back to you, because it is really insightful a lot of the time.
It is. There's a lot to it. Like there's so much more than Twitch. Twitch gives you, and Twitch is a very like out of context. It's like, oh, there's a peak in chatters at this point. What happened at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a raid.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, there was a peak in chatters at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, an extra bunch of viewers had come in. Why? You look back through your thing and it's like, I have no idea.
Yeah, just
because there's no
push at that moment.
There was no clickable thumbnail. There was no
what happened?
You know, your titles only go so far on Twitch. I know if I'm watching Twitch,
look at the titles.
I don't even look at the titles half the time. I see someone that looks interesting and I click on their stream.
Yeah. If it looks like they're doing something I want to watch, that's the only reason I'll click on it.
Yeah.
That's it. The majority of my traffic comes from videos and chat and call outs in the videos for who will come to the stream. And that's sort of where that interaction comes from. It's not from Twitch's directory at all. So yeah, very much. I follow the same thought process on that too.
Oh, this is a bit of a vague one. So hopefully I wanted to word it better, but I wasn't able to actually word it better. What would you say the most important thing to learn for uploading content to YouTube is? I think we touched on that a little bit before. I think we're doubling up on a question there, but
we sort of did. I mean, most important thing to learn for uploading content to YouTube. Sort of, I'd say, obviously with YouTube content, actually, this is one I could sort of get into here, and it kind of relates a little bit to that analysis paralysis we were talking about earlier. But another thing I see a lot of content creators do when they're uploading their content is getting stuck trying to perfect a video as technically as they can. Like they listen back to the commentary and they go, "Oh, I don't like how I sounded in this minute millisecond," or there's a breath there. Let me quickly go get rid of that. Or you know, oh, there's a I don't know, maybe this particular cut to a different gameplay scene I don't like, or I don't like this graph. Like there's so many minute things. Like I think one of the best things that a content creator on YouTube can adopt to to get a consistent upload schedule going, because there is some importance to that too, is abiding by the 80-20 rule. You know, get the video to 80% done. If you've decided on a day or on a night that you're going to launch that video, give yourself ample time for review to make sure there's nothing catastrophic with the video that will kill it if you upload it in its state. But if you render it, you're going to upload it that night, and you notice the smallest inkling of issues that it's not perfect, just send it up anyway. Don't it's not worth going through the pain of having to re-edit, re-render, redo a whole bunch of stuff when you could just upload it at the 80-20 ratio of good to bad. It's just, for me, that's that simple. I think because I see a lot of creators get involved in that, and realistically speaking, because every day you spend delaying the video that you're working on as it stands, you're also delaying when you can get to work on the next bit of content and the next and the next, which delays more learning opportunities too. So I think there's a real value to understanding when good is good enough, and sort of sticking to that to make sure you don't fall into a crack of perfectionism, which, as someone who is with my videos from time to time, hurts to say, but it's a learning I've got for sure.
It's one of those things where you can always go back and look at where, like, use it, as you said, use it as a learning curve. Like, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
Where did that piece happen? It could be that, well, recently this was for someone else, which we'll touch on a little bit actually. But this was a project for someone else that I was doing, and I had finished the video. I was tired. I was showing it to my wife, and she was like, "Yeah, it's good, apart from the fact that your voice is completely out of sync with your mouth." And I was too worried looking at the NVIDIA eye tracker thing that I didn't even notice the mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it was, and I just had to go back and redo it because I couldn't submit that. There's no way.
That's fair. That would have made so many people angry.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't watch movies if the voices don't line up with the mouths.
I could see her face too. She was like, I was like, oh, yeah, surely it's not that bad, man. All right, our last question before we do start wrapping it up. This is a 3-parter. We'll try not to dig deep into you too much. But if you were writing a creator's guide to content, what would 3 tips from that book be? It doesn't have to be your top 3 tips. It's just any tips that you think would be useful, and they can be tips that we've already spoken about.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Big one. Be prepared to make mistakes, and if you do, look at them critically and not emotionally. It's such a huge thing. Like, be prepared to make mistakes. If you make a mistake, to be fair, sometimes the greatest mistakes can also be your greatest successes by accident. Like, that shit happens all the time in the YouTube space. You'll try something new, you'll think it's a mistake, and immediately it'll be your best performing piece of content. You're like, oh crap, okay, I can do this now. So be prepared to make mistakes, and be prepared to look at them critically without beating yourself up. Such a huge thing about avoiding burnout in this industry, and in the YouTube space in particular, I'd say. Gonna have to throw back in the just do it comment.
Just do it.
Just do it. Literally just start. Find something you're passionate about. Get into it. Don't sit there like trying to perfect a stream overlay, or trying to perfect an intro, or trying to do all those secondary things to, am I calling someone out here unexpectedly? Am I attacking someone at the moment?
No, not at all.
Maybe, yeah. There you go.
If it was up to him, the Level Up Lounge still wouldn't be live. We'd still be playing with little. So we would
have spent about 10 grand and not actually started.
Touche, been there. Anyway, just start. Find something you're passionate about. Start making the content. You're going to learn by doing far more than you are going to learn by theorizing. Just do it. Simple as that. And then I guess my next big thing, and this sort of applies to streaming and the YouTube world as well, more broadly. Don't just think about the content you're creating. Think about how people are going to find your content. The biggest piece of advice I can give for the YouTube space is that a video thumbnail should tell me who the video is from, what it's going to be about, There's one more. Shit. Never mind. I'll think of it maybe. Yeah, it needs to tell me who it's from and what it's about without me looking at the title or the channel author. I need to know everything from that thumbnail. It's the big piece of visual, eye-catching information. It's going to be the first thing that we all see. Think about that. Think about what your thumbnail is conveying, or think about like what your stream title is conveying. Like any element that you can make that may potentially welcome viewers into your audience or into your content, I would argue is far more important than the content itself, at least in the initial part. So a lot of creators fall into that trap. Think about how people are going to see your content for the first time and how they're going to get introduced to it versus the content you're actually making.
I don't know how it is for a lot of other people, but me personally, if I'm more watching the videos for the person. If that makes sense. Like once I've discovered the channel, I'm not necessarily caring about what they're playing. 9 times out of 10, the game or whatever it is they're doing is going to be something I'm interested in. But for the most part, I see they've uploaded a video and I'm like, cool, I'm going to watch that. You know, I want to support the people that, you know, I care about.
That's it. And obviously, you know, I've definitely felt the opposite to that in the YouTube game, because people have got their attention spans like that. They want their content, they get out, and if it's not their thing of interest anymore, then they're done. But
speaking of,
if you
no, I'm just kidding.
Bingo, case in point, right there, right now. But it's like you develop that relationship with people, but you need to break down that initial barrier to do so. And thinking about how you're going to do that makes a night and day difference in your content strategy, because you'll just be flinging content at the wall, thinking it'll stick, but it needs to get people through that door first. It's a huge.
It's like focus. Going out into the middle of the bush and singing a song and going, why isn't anyone listening to my song?
But then you get that one random person who is listening and you're like, hang on a minute.
Where did you come from?
Where did you come from and why are you naked in the bush? Like, how'd that happen? I think that would be it if I was to pick a 3.
Awesome. They are awesome tips. I love them.
Yep.
They're going to make good shorts too, just saying.
And before we wrap up, was there anything over the course of the night that you've come up for us at all?
Oh,
anything that you want to know?
I was going to throw back to you boys, actually. You know, what made you get the jump into content creation? Like, how did you guys get started? Wait, what
do you want to go first,
you into this great world?
I'll let you go first, because I think yours is more interesting than
mine. For me, I've always loved performing and making content.
Okay.
Even from a young, like a year 9 onwards, we were making stupid skits.
Anthony the Lion.
No, before that. We've still got a video now, which I'm going to regret mentioning. We've got a video of me and a friend on Sane's trampoline recording a very, very stupid kung fu segment. And it's like, I
love it.
I'm going to kill you now. And then just stupid movements on a trampoline.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then we did a thing called the Warp Zone at one point where we started filming a narrative, a story thing. I've always loved it. And even earlier when I was a kid, constantly whenever there was a video camera around or something like that, I'd try and make, recreate movies, or it's always been a passion of mine. And then when it came to gaming, I sort of started joining these communities and felt like what we were saying before, I was always bullied for being a gamer. So when I found these communities, I was like, I would love to have this in any way, shape, or form.
Got your gateway point, yeah.
Yeah. And so when I first started making content, it was based around Destiny. Destiny 1, I was already a part of a big community. All of our friends played, and it was... have you played Destiny 1?
I've not. No, I missed the Destiny train.
There was a specific boss called Fogoth, which was a really hard strike. And at the time, there was one area that you could cheese Fogoth, and you could sit up in this one bit and just pop away at him. And one of my friends was
Very
like,
nice.
how do we do this? So I was like, you know what? Stuff it. I'm going to put up a YouTube video. Here's the help that you
There
need.
you go.
And that was sort of the gateway into let's keep doing this. Let's make some
It's
videos.
awesome.
That
yeah,
was awesome.
Nice. Very
and
nice.
then when it came to the podcast, the podcast was I had an idea. I had an idea.
Yes.
I wanted to do it. And
how most podcasts tend to start too, funnily enough.
Yeah, we smashed out a good 6 months prior to of planning because I am established. I don't need to worry about just doing it because I was already doing it. The podcast was more of a thing like equipment, like how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, nice.
And I think that was the push you needed to actually do it.
In a sense, yeah. I've been told for many, many years that I'm a charismatic person. I can talk to pretty much anybody, anything, anywhere, anywho. I don't really give a shit. I'll talk to you. I don't care.
Yeah, nice.
But my real first introduction to like people wanting to watch what I was doing was I was playing BioShock. And I was on the phone to a couple of friends, and they were like, at the time, PewDiePie was just starting to get big, and YouTube was just starting to get, popular with my friends. And they were like, you know what you should do? You should put this on YouTube. And I'm like, nah, nobody'd watch it. But not to mention, I didn't have the microphone. I didn't have anything to record. I was playing on an Xbox. I didn't have decent internet at the time. So like, when I say didn't have decent, I had dial-up. So living in the middle of nowhere on top of that. So accessibility was an issue. But then a couple of years back, I was kind of just sick of working. So I was like, I love games. Streaming's an option. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. Did it. Got overwhelmed. Quit. And then Anthony, I come around one day.
Back in. Fantastic.
Yeah. I come around to Ants one day and he's like, hey, you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, yes. Let's go.
Yes, there you go. Perfect.
And then what? Yeah, 7 months later, we're just like, let's do it.
Podcast time.
And here we are.
Amazing.
20 episodes later.
Here we are.
Shitloads of content. Sorry, 20 levels later.
20 levels.
There you go. Yeah.
A convention under our belt.
2.
2 conventions, technically.
Well, technically, yeah.
Technically
PAX,
2, but
PAX, we were just reaching out to people.
Pitching the idea, yeah.
Before we do finish up, thank you so much, Cam, for coming on and joining us.
Yes, thank you.
I've definitely taken some stuff away.
You've been an absolute legend.
And I really want to catch streams a little bit more as well because I'm yet to be able to catch one of your streams, and I want to come across and see that stuff.
Cause some trouble.
No, not
I will say you've met some of my community tonight. They have been very well behaved.
They've been lovely.
I promise you. So they're putting on a facade right now under my instruction.
Well,
because
I don't know if you've been looking over from time to time, but they have been ripping into you every now and again.
Oh, I'm sure they have been. They are some of the most unhinged people on the internet. I love them to death, but good lord, are they enough to put you into a mental asylum unchecked?
There was a little bit earlier where they were like making fun of you for actually doing some research.
Oh, that's about on brand, actually. That checks out. Yeah, okay, cool.
Which is quite funny. But also, thank you for all of your lovely followers for giving us a follow. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, no. It has been a pleasure, gentlemen. It's I really do appreciate the invite, jumping on and coming to chat with you guys for a bit. We've been meaning to do this for a while now, I think.
Just a little while.
Yeah, a while. Yeah. But, it is what it is in the content game. It's,
exactly.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody's got their own lives.
But if people who are listening or watching on YouTube want to find you, where would they find you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so it is Kamikaze78, located on pretty much everything. The numbers do help me lock in the consistent branding, which is fantastic. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and I have a Cami Camera 78 Instagram, but I don't use it as much as I should, so that one is sort of in the tumbleweed at the moment. But yes, missed opportunity. I know. Lots of YouTube content coming, as well as and I guess I'll just drop a cheeky little behind the scenes announcement now for my community who are here. We have a charity event coming up for streaming on Twitch soon as well, so I'm looking forward to announcing that more properly with those guys soon. But that is a little podcast exclusive thing there
first.
as well. Well, first, there you go. Well, first,
first.
Yes. Yeah.
On that note, I've also got something to announce very quickly. I have teamed up with one of our past guests, Caffeinated Chaos, on the Indie Brew, and I am now doing some reviews for horror games, which a lot of people would be like, wait, what? But I actually love my horror games. It's just I cannot stream them because I tend to get a little bit too much into it.
A little bit into it.
Got it. Okay.
But my first review is coming out tomorrow morning.
Oh, sick.
So if you do want to check that out, it's on a indie game called Noxia Somnia. It was actually a really good game too.
Ah, that's what it was I saw in the Notion.
Yes, yeah.
Very nice.
Was that in that Notion? Oh, that was supposed to be my Notion.
I renamed the because it was just an untitled document. So I was like, what's this? And I just renamed it to what it was.
Yeah,
in the drive.
So yeah, there will be a lot more horror games content coming from me as well on different things. So keep an eye out for that.
Exciting.
But everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. For the people on the podcast, thank you so much for listening as well. We do appreciate it. If you did want to come and hang out, we are live on Friday at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
At twitch.tv/Level Up Lounge podcast. Thank you.
I was tight-lipped, all right? Tight-lipped.
And yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. Ken, thank you for coming on once again. Chat, thank you for hanging out. And we'll see you in the next one. Catch you later. Bye.
Thanks all. Bye, guys.